Hey everybody, my name is Alonzo. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome to the channel for the first time. We are Gulf Coast Smoke, and today I want to show you guys how to make the perfect steak every single time. So before I go any further, I just want to say a quick shout out to the MeatStick. I had somebody reach out to me via email, and they told me that they wanted to send me a device and see how I liked it. So this video is thanks to them. Without this device, I wouldn't be putting on this specific video. So thanks to the MeatStick for sending me out a MeatStick and the extender so I can make sure that I get a nice range within my house and I can always read the temperatures on my meat. So what I wanted to talk about today was a few things when it comes to making a perfect steak. I have people all the time ask me, dude, how did you nail that steak like that? I have friends that like it medium rare. They come over, say the steak was delicious. My old man loves the way I cook steaks. And I do think that steaks are one of our stronger cooks. My wife and I cook them pretty well. But there's just a few things I want to talk about. So number one, the quality of the meat that you're going to get is huge in my opinion. We don't eat steaks every single day here, so I definitely recommend getting at least a choice. To be 100% honest, I try getting prime every single time, but today I couldn't find a good set of prime steaks, so we're rolling with choice. I want you guys to come on in, take a look at them, and then we'll keep talking. Okay, so like I said a second ago, one of the first things I want to talk about is the quality of the meat that you're using. And what I mean by that is the intramuscular marbling that's running through the ribeye. So all ribeyes are going to have this fat here, like this fat right here literally just separates the cap and the eye of the ribeye, and that's going to be there on every single one unless you actually have a ribeye cap steak that's been butcher twined off by your butcher. But again, you're looking for intramuscular marbling. Now, I said a second ago, these are just choice grade, but they still have some decent marbling running through, so I'm not too upset with this. I'm going to try and get some stock photos of some select and some prime, maybe even some Wagyu, to show you guys the differences in the marbling. Now again, don't forget, all of these ribeyes are going to have this fat here. Don't concentrate on that fat. That's not the good fat that people are talking about when they say, oh man, I got a really fatty ribeye. This right here, where you can see red, and then in between that red, you see the marbling, you see the intramuscular fat, that's what makes a good ribeye. Like I said, I'm not too upset with these. I think these are going to turn out really, really good. And the next important thing, in my opinion, is a good rub. So today we're going to use Chupacabra steak seasoning, and I think that this really goes well with beef, and this is what I use a lot. So some people would say that a good piece of meat only needs salt and pepper. And I'm not going to lie to you. I really tend to agree for the most part. But like I told you guys a second ago, these are choice today. They don't have as much intramuscular marbling as I would like. Usually when my wife and I get some prime steaks or even Wagyu, a lot of the times we just get American Wagyu like at my local HEB or butcher around here. But we can go salt and pepper, and it tastes amazing because you get that nice beef flavor straight off of the meat, and you don't really need too much more. But every once in a while, I do like to throw down on some steak seasoning, and I think Chupacabra steak rub is really, really good. So the last thing that I think is super important when it comes to cooking steaks is temperature control. I'm not talking about on my grill. I personally like to cook my steaks really, really hot. I do use 2 zones, and I do start it off indirect. But in my opinion, it doesn't cook too long that way to where I would say it gets a lot of smoky flavor. I do technically call it a reverse sear, but I don't think that it gets in too much of that smoke flavor, so I don't really worry too much about that. What I like to do is get it to about 110 internal, get those coals as hot as I can, and get a nice sear on these. So by temperature control, what I mean is watch the internal temp of that steak. You have to be very careful, especially if you're cooking over a hot fire, exactly how you're cooking the steak. So you got to remember, if you want something that's medium rare, which is technically 135, you actually want to pull it off a little bit sooner. I would say 5 to 8 degrees before your desired temperature, because it is going to carry over. It's over that hot fire, and you already know that it's not just going to stop cooking when you pull it off. So you got to keep those things in mind. So temperature control is huge in my opinion. And what we're going to do is we're going to get these steaks ready. We're going to go outside, use my trusty Weber kettle. You guys already know that is my favorite cooker. I'm going to use my slow and sear so we can get 2 zones. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I like to cook these steaks. Hopefully They come out perfect, and you guys can have a few tips that's going to help you moving forward on how to take your steak game to the next level. I do know that I wasn't the best at cooking steaks in the beginning. What I would basically do is straight over the fire for way too long, overcook it, always have a lot of gray on both sides. And don't get me wrong, that's not the hugest deal, but a lot of the times people like coast to coast medium rare, which is pretty hard to get. I don't always get it myself, but with this method, I do think it's a for sure way for you to always have some great steaks, even if you overdo it just a little bit. Watch those internal temperatures, and that's where the MeatStick comes in. So real quick, I want you guys to come in, take a look at the device that we're using today, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So like I said, temperature control is important, and that's exactly where the MeatStick is going to come in today. So the cool thing about this is a true wireless thermometer. You can see, almost looks like a pencil here. This goes straight into your steak or any meat that you use, and you can use the extender in your phone to check on the internal temperatures of your meat. You can use it on steaks, of course, chicken, briskets, whatever. And these are really awesome. I've already played around with it plenty to get myself familiar with it. Thank you again to the MeatStick for sending it out. And what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna cut to a little bit of my phone recording while I show you guys what I'm doing with the meat, show you guys the interface of this application. So now that I've taken the MeatStick off of its dongle here, you can see right here, 77 degrees is the ambient temperature on the point of this MeatStick. So the point over here is where it's reading the temperature from. So keep that in mind. The other thing with this MeatStick is you have to put it in all the way or it's not going to work properly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put it right in the middle. We're going to push it all the way to the middle of the steak. Boom. And so now you can see that my phone instantly is dropping the ambient temperature there, because now it's reading the internal temperature of that steak, which is exactly what we want. These are about the same size, they're about the same thickness, so I have a confident feeling that when this one's done, this one's also going to be done. We're going to trust the MeatStick today, and we're just going to go with it. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. Just to make this easy, we'll go to quick start. We like it medium rare, so we'll set it to 135. We'll go to next. We'll name this GCS steak. Done. Next. And it's that simple. It really is. So now, and that's where it tells you as well, make sure you optimize your MeatStick range. Make sure it's all the way in there. We're just going to start. So now we're ready to take this to the grill, put it on, and watch those internal temps. So normally I don't talk this much on my channel. I like to concentrate on B-roll. I like to ask my wife to get some great action shots so I can try editing something really cool for you guys and hopefully catch some attention. But I do think that these tips are pretty good, and I do think that they're going to help you out with your steak game. So bear with me. We're almost done talking. It's almost time to start cooking. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to hit it with our steak rub. Then we're going to go outside, set up the fire just like I said a second ago. Then it's time to cook. This is a fast cook. Don't leave your grill. We're going to start indirect, finish direct, then we're going to slice it up. Hopefully we killed it. Alright, so you can see my MeatStick app says that the internal on this steak is 112. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to sear these steaks now. I have my slow and sear spinning grate on my Weber kettle today. So we're going to get some nice action shots for you. Now it's time to just let these reach 128 internal. That's usually my target, 128. Then we'll let it carry over to 135. Hopefully these turn out good. Let's get right back to the B-roll. Okay, so a nice, easy cook. There are some steps to it. Like I said, whenever you're looking for a good steak, you want to talk about quality, you want to talk about rub. And honestly, like I said earlier, if you're using a prime or a Wagyu, you still might even want to use that salt and pepper. So too is actually really dependent on what kind of grade of meat you can get. I don't recommend going lower than choice, and I feel confident and happy with these choices that I got today. I just checked for that intermuscular fat, like I said earlier, and I think that these are going to turn out really good. So another thing with steak, don't cut into it right away. Let it rest for at least 10 minutes to make sure that you retain the juices in that steak. Man, I'll tell you what, this smells so good, looks so good. I want you guys to come in, take a look at this meat, then let's slice it up, see how we did. Yeah, so you can see that these steaks look really nice. One thing I want to show you is that meat stick still looks perfect. So this thing can withstand up to 572 degrees Fahrenheit, and my grill was right around 550, so it's completely good and it's ready to rock and roll. Let's get right into it. Let's slice up this steak, and like I said a minute ago, see how we did. Alright, so I had to step to the other side to make sure I got a nice look at this meat. I mean, look at the juices running from that. Perfect, medium rare, coast to coast. I'm ready to slice this up, and finally, we gotta take a bite. Okay, you guys saw the action shots. That steak turned out really, really good. Perfect. Exactly the way I like my steaks. Like I said, I have cooked plenty and plenty of steaks. It's one of my favorite meals. So I do feel confident in the cook for sure. But like I said earlier, one of the biggest things for me is watching those internal temperatures. Making sure I know when my steak is done. Understanding that it's going to carry over as well. And that's one of the biggest things. So I pulled it at 128. Right now, it is a perfect medium rare, red throughout the whole steak. Amazing. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and take a quick bite. It's like butter. There's not many steakhouses out there that can cook a steak this good. Stay at home, get in your backyard, have some fun, try it out, make mistakes. That's what it's all about. It's what we like to do. That's the Gulf Coast Smoke way. I have to say thanks one more time to the MeatStick for sending me this device. I will say that it made it extremely easy today to cook my steak to perfection. And I'm so glad that I was able to show you guys a little bit about this device. And I just want to say thank you guys for getting my channel to this point where we can show off some cool products. People will reach out to us and ask us to review these items for you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link in the description where you guys can check out the MeatStick yourself. If you're interested in it, it is an awesome device. I do recommend getting that extender because I was able to walk around throughout my house, go to the restroom, no problems. I did not lose connectivity to that MeatStick. I was always able to watch my steak. As always, I really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.